So, Thales, I'm just going to zoom in into a linked question where if you really want to look at the decay of your product market fit, right? If I were to call it that way, right? Uh, you really are talking about something very interesting where you say that executives must actually possess the skill of wave spotting, right? So where if I'm working in a corporate, I tend to get comfortable with what happens every day. Okay. So therefore, you need to have a sense of wave spotting in your skill where you're actually looking at business and saying, you know what, looks like there is a wave that's happening and I need to get my company ready for it or my product or my service ready for it. So if I were to build that wave spotting skill, what are the kinds of skills that I need to develop in my arsenal to actually ensure that this decay of this product market fit probably, I'm able to reduce it in my company.
Hmm. Well, I'd say that you have to start by kind of understanding customers. If you want to build customer-centric business model that provides real value for customers, or if you want to keep the value that you're offering to customers really high, you need to have customer-centric processes. Now, for big companies, that is extremely hard to do because companies are really incentivized, and executives and managers in companies are incentivized to kind of grow the company, make more money. So there's very few metrics of benefiting the customer, and this view that if you benefit your customers, you'll indirectly get a benefit yourself and retain some of that benefit in the form of profits. But it's mostly, most executives are really focused about growth, about profitability, about kind of increase the take rate that they get from all the products and services that they offer. So they're very firm centric. Every CEO that I meet, I asked if if they're customer centric, and all of them, with one exception ever, told me, yes, we're very customer centric. Customers are most important for us and all of these things. But in the reality, you and I know when we shop for products and services, we're often badly treated by telecom operators, by banks, by airlines, often by hotels. We're not very well treated. We don't feel that they're focused on us. They're focused on, themselves, their processes. Only once the CEO of Siemens in Brazil told me, Professor Teixeira, I would like to say that we're very customer focused, but in reality, we're product focused. We're an engineering led company, and our engineers build the best products, and we think our products are the best in the world. And we try to push those products to our customers and educate them to why our products are best. And if they don't buy our products, we just say, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand. Like, you don't know how to judge quality, right? So that was the only case that somebody was really honest to me, saying we're not customer focused. And in reality, I think that's what most big companies are not. They don't prioritize this. They don't incentivize this. And so how do you transform this? It's a cultural transformation to really focus on customers. And part of my job is going to big companies and kind of setting up processes and helping change the culture to do more customer centric innovation. And before the wave spotting, that is your question, you need to kind of like refocus on customers, right? And many companies are far removed from their consumers. And that's a big challenge. If you manufacture a product, I advise auto companies. They don't know what the heck their customers want, their consumers, because auto companies sell products to dealers. And so every month, every week, they go to the dealers and they say, what do you want to buy? What is good? What do you need? How can we get you to buy more of our cars? And then the dealers focus on selling cars to us consumers. But the auto companies, the auto executives, they don't really have this close relationship with their consumers. So when consumers change, it takes a while for the auto dealers to realize it. And then it takes a long time for the auto manufacturers to understand it because they're not collecting the data for the consumers. And every now and then they do a little survey with consumers, but it takes them a long time to do it, 6 months to do it. And they don't pay too much attention to this. So the same thing with, many manufacturers of goods, that there is a distributor, there's a retailer, and then there's a consumer. They're far removed. So, Swami, to do this wave spotting, you need to be close to your consumer. There's no way out of it. You can't be on a phone line talking to somebody that's talking to somebody else that's talking to your end consumer. We play a game in Brazil of this phone line in which I say something, and at the end, the other kid would listen. I would say it only in the ears. The other kid would listen to something completely different from what I said. That's what happens in big companies. And so you need to get closer and closer to your end consumer as close as possible. And the closest way to do that, the best way, is to sell it directly to your consumer as a way to understand them. And when they change, you automatically see the signals, right? And so that's extremely important. I visited many tech companies, Google, I visited Airbnb, I've talked to many Uber executives, Netflix, as I said. And one thing that I've learned about big tech companies, there's two priorities that they always have, no matter what product or service they're launching. There are always two key priorities that they will never ever give up, no matter how much money they could make. The first one is they want the relationship with the end consumer. They will never be intermediated by another company. They'll sell directly to the end consumer. Number two, they collect data on the end consumer. They will always try to figure out how to collect data on the end consumer. How do they buy? How do they use the products? Because those two things, if you have the data on how consumers are using your products and you have the closest relationship possible, then the sky's the limit. Whenever your consumer has a new need, you can quickly see it. The signal is very, very strong and it's direct. And then you can be customer centric. And then these waves that you talk about will be very obvious to start to identify it. But if you're far removed, if you're not collecting data, transactional data and usage data on a day by day basis, you're just hinting at what consumers might be thinking of.